Alright, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? It's your girl, Messy Jessie, Power 1051, y'all.
It's your neighborhood's dope boy, favorite girl, Unique, the freak, Hot 97.
Yeah, Messy Freaks Podcast, baby, we back. You know what I mean? Back with another one, back like we never left, you know what I mean? Back like cook crack, all that shit. What's going on, sis? How you been?
You know, same old, you know what I mean? Just, staying on the grind, getting this money, you know what I mean? You know, what's going on with you?
Not much, you know what I mean? Sorry, I was late last time, you know what I mean? I had a little situation, a little debacle, but it's all good, you know, I'm here today. What's going on?
Yeah, that situation was crazy. We ain't even gonna get into that, you know what I mean? We is not gonna get into that situation. But today I think we should talk about perception. You know what I mean? I hope I'm saying that right. You know what I mean? Perception, because a lot of people might have a certain perception of you and me, you know what I mean? And I don't think they really know, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, perception, like, what do you mean? Like, where you going? I'm following you, Sips. Like, I'm trying to follow you. Where you going with this?
Meaning, like, perception. Like, a lot of people might think that just because, I'm lighter skinned or I'm biracial and quote unquote got the good hair, they might think that I get the most attention, from men, between me and you or the rest of the, crew, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? But what they don't know is that really Jesse's the one that gets all the attention. Like, Jessie, every time we went out, especially in our younger days, you know what I mean? Me, Jessie, Narabia, you know what I mean? Our other homegirl, Narabia, shout out to her. And our other homegirl, Lisa, aka Lisa Debo, free her, she's locked down right now. Out of all of us, Jessie got all the attention. That's what y'all need to know.
Oh God, here we go. Don't start that shit, yeah. Yo, good boy now. Yeah, I think we equally got, attention. I think we equally got attention when we went out. I don't think it was just all me, you know what I mean?
That's bullshit, you know what I mean? You definitely got the most attention out of all of us when we went out. Because a lot of people might think just because I flirt or, if I feel like, I want to get it in with a nigga, if I'm feeling a nigga, my younger days, you know what I mean? I ain't, like that no more. I'm with somebody now, free my baby Tony, you know what I mean? Free Tony till it's backwards. But yeah, they might think because I'm, a little bit more outspoken or, a little bit more flirtatious, they might think that I get the most attention. But it was always you, Jess. You always got more attention than all of us, you know what I mean?
I mean, I had my fair share, you know what I mean? I done my thing, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? But, I was always too shy, you know what I mean, to really, do a lot of things, I was always too shy, too scared. I don't know. I just always would chicken out. I always wanted to be like the wild child, but I could never draw myself to do it. I don't know. I guess it's because, my father was always strict, you know what I mean? So I tap dance on the line. I never crossed it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely understand what you mean. But, yeah, Jessie, for the most part, always got the most attention. Matter of fact, yo, Howard is our engineer for those who's listening. Yo, Howard, pull that picture up. Now, y'all see this picture right here now? Y'all see the body on Jessie? Now, Jessie has had this body since we was in junior high school. Like, Jessie's always had this body, like the type of body that bitches go and have surgery for. Jessie had in fucking junior high school, like, you know what I'm saying? So Jessie always got the most attention out of all of us. Don't let the the shyness and all that fool you. Like, Jessie's always been that bitch, you know what I mean?
Hold up. Oh my God. Why I got that picture? Oh my God. I only took that picture. I took that picture for the station. I was, I think we was having a celebration or something. I think that's when I first got there. That's probably like my first or second year, over at Power 105. And I took that oh my God. And a lot of creeps always, a lot of creeps slid in my DMs. You know what I mean? After that picture went up, you know what I mean? But oh my God, yeah. Joe Howard, take that fucking picture there. Oh my God.
Yeah, so as you can see, you know, Jessie got all that ass, all them thighs and shit, you know what I mean? Jessie always been that bitch. Like, I remember we used to go out, right? It would be, you know, 4 of us. It'd be me, Jessie, Narabia, Lisa Debo. We would go out, and sometimes the lines would be long in the club, especially back in the day. Like, the lines would be long in the club, and the lines would be long to get in the club. You know, right now in New York, we ain't really got clubs like that. It's like mostly hookah lounges and bars and shit. But back when, like, Club Speed and Amazora and all that shit was popping, the lines would be long. So we'd be like, yo, Jessie, go to the front, see if you can get us in. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? Jessie will always go to the front, and she always come back like clockwork. Like, yeah, yo, come on, and we'll get in. You know what I mean? And get VIP. You know what I mean?
Oh my God. Those days was wild. Cause the thing is, like, I'm naturally shy, like Unique. And you know what I mean, the rest of the crew, they're a little bit more outgoing. I was always like the quiet one, but you know, they would always push me to use things to my advantage. So it used to be cold. Like, we'd be out there in the cold waiting to get in the club. Then, you know, they'd tell me take off my jacket so that way, you know, show my little curves and all that. And then I get to the front, flirt a little bit, and we always get in, you know what I mean? And sometimes we would only have money to get in. We wouldn't even have money to buy drinks. So every time, like, the DJ or something, would have something to where, like, you could twerk and get a bottle, they were always pushing me to do that shit. You remember that bullshit?
Yeah. We would always push Jessie to go twerk. We like, yo, we ain't got no money for no liquor. Go get that bottle, Jessie. Go get that bottle. So then that's when, you know, Jessie would go, get on the stage, twerk. Niggas would be going crazy, throwing money. You know what I mean? And we get the free bottles. And now, not only we got money now, and we got a bottle, you know what I mean? And back then, it was probably like Hypnotic or something like that. Or like Cristal, Moet, Hennessy. Don Julio wasn't even out, you know, then. You know, or maybe like Ciroc, you know what I mean? Ciroc, you know, I remember, you know, Jessie twerking, you know, and getting a bunch of Ciroc bottles. And, you know, we all, man, those were the days. But yeah, Jessie always been the one, you know, to get the attention, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you know, I've dated, you know, a few rappers and a few NBA players. You know, this was before, you know what I mean, I started dating Tony, you know what I mean? I went through my whole phase in my younger days. I was a hoe in my younger days, you know what I mean? I ain't gonna front. I was a hoe in my younger days.
Oh, wow. Wow. Oh, being a hoe in your younger days, that's crazy. But nah, yeah, you know what I mean? You know, a few rappers and, you know, NBA players tried to holler at me too, but I was always just too shy, so I would always live, you know what I mean, the wildlife through Unique, you know what I mean? I would live the wildlife through Unique, you know what I mean? She was always the one bold enough to flirt and go out on dates and shit. I was just always too scared, and you know what I mean? But that's the one thing I respect about you, sis, is that, you know, you don't give a fuck what people think about you. You do what you want, and you know, it takes a lot of courage to be like that, and I respect you for that.
And I appreciate that, and I respect you, I respect you too, you know what I mean? The fact that, you know, you headstrong and, you go after what you want too, you know what I mean? For like business, you know what I mean? You know, Jessie's a hell of a businesswoman, you know, she got multiple businesses, and, you know, Jessie gets that bag. I ain't gonna hold you, but that's what I'm saying, like, perception is everything. Like, they might think that we just cute faces, pretty faces, just, you know what I mean, fucking all the rappers and, you know, and all the actors and niggas with money. And nah, man, we worked hard to get here. But, you know, Jessie did, you know what I mean, used to get us in a lot of places, you know, with all that ass. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh, God. Yeah, I think we've all, you know, done things, you know what I mean, in our younger days, and we all mature now, you know what I mean? You know, the fact that, you know, me and you cornered the market, you know what I mean? You know, me being on Power 105, you know, you being on Hot 97, you know, not only being born and raised in this city and growing up in the city, the fact that we took over both radio stations says a lot, you know what I mean? And, you know, You know, like I said, you know, now Arabia, she's successful. She, you know, she's married, you know what I mean, with kids. And, you know, she a Muslim now and got, you know, her business. And, you know what I mean? And Lisa Debo was doing her thing. You know, she's locked up. But, you know, we've been holding it down, you know what I mean? And I'm just proud of the whole crew, you know what I mean? I think we all doing good.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. You know, we definitely, you know, had a dream and we set out for it and, you know, we conquered it. But, you know, I just, you know, had to, you know, let people know about, you know, perception, you know what I mean? They might think that, you know, I'm the one, you know what I mean, that get a lot of attention. Nah, it's always been Jesse, you know what I mean? It's just I've been more outspoken and more, you know what I mean, flirtatious. But like I said, I was a hoe in my younger days. I ain't a hoe no more. I'm with Duffel Bag Tony. Free Duffel Bag Tony, by the way.
Oh, God. Yeah, but yeah, you're right, though. Free Duffel Bag Tony, man. But, you know, being a hoe in your career, being a hoe in your younger days, that's crazy. You know what I mean? But, yeah, you know, Jesse, you know what I mean? I sometimes give that big mama energy. You know what I mean? Niggas do bow down and start choosing, but, you know, I'm good, you know what I mean? I got a nigga, you know what I mean? I've been with my nigga, you know, for like 5 years, you know what I mean? It's just, you know what I mean? You know, we in 2 different states, you know what I mean? I'm always busy, you know, getting to that bag, and he's, you know, busy getting to his bag, you know what I mean? But, you know, we've been together for a minute.
If y'all in 2 different states, you ever think that he's cheating on you? You ever, like, you know, be wondering if he's cheating on you?
That motherfucker better not be cheating on me. Shit, I'll cut that motherfucker's dick off if he the fuck got me fucked up. But nah, that nigga know better. Trust me, just like you say, he don't want to lose all this. You see all his ass. He don't want to lose this, sis. Trust me. That nigga sprung. You heard me? That nigga sprung off this big ass. He ain't going no motherfucking way.
I know that's right. I know that's right. But Joe, man, we gonna take a little break. We gonna pay some sponsors. You know, we be back after this Messy Freaks podcast, y'all.